So, would you know what to do if you get a ticket and have to show up to court? Or what if there's a meaningful court case that you care about and want to follow, but don't know where to start? Joining us today to talk about the unique aspects of the Oklahoma court system is attorney Alexis Gardner. Good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
So in Oklahoma, under what possible scenarios are you required to show up for court? Obviously, you know, charged with a felony, I understand that, but some other scenarios that people may not know. Do I have to show up?
Well, so you know that you have to show up for court when you're served, essentially. There's two umbrellas under the law. There's criminal, which is right, felonies, misdemeanors. Usually the police come looking for you, so you'll know where you have to be. But then under civil, you have to be served. And you're served with the summons and complaint, whether that's a divorce proceeding, a protective order, a run-of-the-mill plaintiff suing a defendant for, say, a car accident. You have to be formally served. So say your ex-girlfriend filed a protective order against you and she told you. Just because she told you, you are not on formal notice, so you're not expected to respond, you're not expected to show up in court. You have to be served, and then once you're on formal notice, the clock starts ticking, and that paperwork or summons will say when you have to be in court.
And obviously, if you don't get traffic tickets much, or if you're pulled over and it's like, oh, I have to, you know, I've read the back of it. It's like, oh, I have to show up to court. What kind of traffic tickets you do and don't generally? Is there like a line, a threshold?
So you usually don't have to show up for any traffic tickets. It gives you a court date to show up by, but you can pay online. And if you pay online, then you don't have to show up. But if you want to contest the ticket, then absolutely show up on your court date and you set it for a hearing where potentially the officer will be summoned to testify about it. But sometimes the officers don't show up, and then that ticket ends up getting thrown out.
Interesting. So is that a scenario where you would advise people getting legal advice under certain traffic violations? Maybe it's a reckless driving. What are some things where you would say you need an attorney and you don't think you need an attorney to be in court?
Well, when it comes to a traffic violation, you can always represent yourself. Same thing with small claims. If it's under $10,000, you can always represent yourself. But of course, if you have a professional who knows the law and who knows how to argue in court, then you're going to be that much better off. But it's not necessary.
Now, I wanted to kind of move over to if it's someone you know in court, but not necessarily you. So let's just say you're a friend of a victim or an accused victim, or you're a friend of someone or a family member who wants to follow a court case. How do you do that? Is there like a website, an app that I can go to figure out when these court dates are? How do I find that out?
Yes, oscn.net is the database for the state.
oscn.net.
Yes, that's right. Don't ask me what that stands for. But essentially, you can type in your case number and it'll pull right up, or you can just type in the first and last name. If the name is, you know, Joe Smith, there's probably going to be hundreds of them and you're going to have to search through to find the one you want. But OSCN is the lifeblood. If I get a call like, I think I might have been charged criminally, or I think I might be being sued, I'm not sure, I go right to OSCN, type up their name, and then I can pull up what they've been charged with or what they're being sued for and when their next court date is. But again, even if you go on OSCN and you see that something is pending,
against you.
Right. But if you haven't been formally served, then it's as if you didn't know that something was pending. And with criminal cases, sometimes people will look themselves up on OSCN and see, oh my gosh, a case has been filed against me, there's a warrant out for my arrest. In that case, if the police haven't come and apprehended you, you can surrender yourself to the Tulsa County Jail. Depending on what you're charged with, you might want to leave the country permanently. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can surrender yourself, or, you know, if you know something's been filed against you, it's obviously best advice to get an attorney and then have the attorney negotiate your surrender.
Right. And so with OSCN.net, just reminding folks, and our crime reporter Lori Fulbright has talked about it over the years, but OSCN.net is a great public use resource. Anybody can use it. In terms of cameras in the courtroom, obviously I've kind of been following, you know, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. You can watch it on TV, but in Oklahoma, you don't see our trials on TV. What about cameras in the courtroom does not fly in Oklahoma?
Well, so there are different local rules depending on where you're at. But yes, in our Tulsa County Courthouse, none of the judges allow people to have cameras in the courtroom, and that's just the local rules. But all criminal and civil trials that don't involve children are public hearings, so anybody can go to them, but you can't record them with your phone. And if you're caught texting in the courtroom, you might get thrown out by the bailiff.
Yeah, not a good scenario. Well, great. So next time, we didn't have time to get to it this time, but obviously protective orders are a big thing. They've been in the news recently due to a new law, so we'll talk about protective orders in Oklahoma next time. Does that sound
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Alexis.
Thanks.